Welcome to our podcast. It's about payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you.
Welcome back, folks. This is episode 121 as we keep moving quickly through this year. Holy moly, guacamole. Man, we have a true payroll crime, fun, always fun for us to talk about. And before we get into our pay news updates today, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Blessed with another day. I'm not fortunate to be here to have my partner in crime on the other side. On the
Of the
lower
other
side.
country, other side of the state right now.
Yeah,
And
literally across the state line.
Florida,
I'm
Georgia
good.
line.
Yeah, man. Florida, Georgia line.
Isn't that a music group's name?
Yeah.
Right? Florida,
Was
Georgia
a
line,
group.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made pretty good music. I
Did
heard.
they?
I'm sure you have.
Man, it was popular like that?
Yeah, they're.
Oh,
I think it was like country.
Country pop?
Yeah, something like that.
No doubt. So I was just watching the most recent Bad Boys movie.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I want to see it. People have said it's really good.
Bro, I think it's the best one yet, and I'm not even finished with it. And I think it's the best one yet. Yeah, no, I'm like, I gotta watch them all over again to make sure I judge it right. But I'm like, yo, dope. I didn't expect, I'd have low expectations because I was like, here these guys go with me. Here it is, franchise stuff. They keep making it Fast and the Furious 20.
Yeah, bro.
And I still watch them because they're entertaining, but they do get a little, oh boy, okay.
Yeah.
This one is good.
Check it out.
Yes, next time you and Shorty are doing the wings and things at home.
That's funny you said that. We just did I got a new air fryer, Ninja air fryer.
Nice.
And made some jerk wings in the air fryer.
Ooh, how'd they come out?
Perfect.
Hey.
So good.
Nice. That's what's up. All right. Cool. We got a good show lined up for you tonight, folks. We talk about changing the format, right? We're changing the format. We were doing 2 shows. Now we're bringing it into 1. I got my social media manager over here listening, hopefully, so you can hear what we're doing. It's going to be 1 show now because really every payroll topic that we talk about has the 2 sides of the coin, right? It has the payroll pro and it has the employee. Like whatever payroll people are doing, we're literally impacting the employee.
That's why we do payroll, right?
That's why we do payroll. We exist to pay people. So we figured for a number of reasons, it just made sense to merge the effort. We're going to start the show with 1, news, current events, news update, all that good stuff. But we're going to talk about the paycheck part first, the employee piece first. Mm-hmm. And then we'll end the show with the payroll pro impact and piece. Mm-hmm. And today is true crime, so it's a little different. We need a little time to reorganize. We went 120 shows doing it one way. No more, right? 120 shows on the payroll side one way, 30 some odd shows doing it each individual. That's 150 some odd shows.
And that's not
160 some odd shows, 77. There's 175 shows, and we just did it in one way. When we started the website, we did like a bunch of different shows. We were recording 4 different shows at one point. Then we consolidated all that into segments. So it's an evolution of it, folks. But it's going to stay consistently that way. So if you're an employee and you want to jump on, just listen to the first half. And then look, if you want to jump off, go for it. But if you want to, you have the choice. And then for the payroll pro, it's really both sides that you should listen to because you need to understand how what the employee impact is, right?
And technically we are employees.
And we are employees, right? It's like for payroll pros, it's comprehensive understanding of both things that you may not even think of. And for the employee, look, if you're not in, we'll give you that option so that you're going to jump on first, hear what you need to hear, and then you could tune out if you need to. If you want to learn some more stuff, you want to be curious about how your payroll pros processing and get savvy, then you can stay on. So look, with that being said, let's get into our pay news updates. And Walt's going to kick it off. And I got a cool article to share with you about the Olympics as well.
All right. So I wanted to shout out, there was a great race that just occurred, like the 100 meters for the men. Noah Lyles won gold. It's been 20 years since a U.S. man has won gold in the 100 meters name.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember.
2004. So it's been 20.
Dang.
Noah Lyles, he won by 500ths of a second or something like that. He won.
Hey, W's a W.
Yep. Oh, just wanted to
We'll
shout
take
that
it.
out, man. Congrats,
Heck,
man.
yo, shout out
Rest
to the
killing that
U.S.
and the rest of the team, Lee,
Yep.
all the ladies, the young men on the gymnastics, they won a medal too. So
Yeah, I've been catching little clips here and there. So yeah, definitely.
So my article is from nlihc.org, and it's talking about a new law that Georgia passed, and it's talking about new tenant protection laws for renters. So it establishes a minimum habitability for those people, and it's effective July 1st. And in March 2024, Georgia lawmakers passed HB 404, also known as the Safe at Home Act, establishing minimum habitability standards for rental properties to ensure they are safe and livable. So it was signed into law by Governor Brian Kemp in April, and it marks a significant step as Georgia was one of the last states to adopt such protections. So some of those provisions that are included are: number one, duty of habitability, so that landlords must maintain rental properties in good repair and address all maintenance issues. Number two is legal recourse. So it says that tenants can sue landlords for failing to keep properties habitable. Number three, security deposit limits were set so that there could be no more than a maximum of 2 months rent. Tenants there, right?
Yeah.
And then also the last thing was the eviction notice. Landlords must give tenants at least 3 days notice before filing for eviction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's
that's good. So this law aims to improve housing conditions and provide better legal protection for renters, particularly benefiting marginalized and low income households. And again, as I said, it became effective July 1st of 2024 for new or renewed leases. That's what I had. What about you?
Oh, okay. So if you're actively in a lease right now, this won't go into effect until your lease ends and then you renew it.
Mhm.
The glaring thing for me is like, how is this not already law in every state? This is basic.
Yeah, as I said
This is
earlier, that
crazy.
Georgia was one of the last states to adopt.
I'm sorry, I missed that part. Georgia was one of the last. Yes, I see. But damn, Georgia.
So how many people know about this stuff occurring in their state? I just happened to look this up while I was doing research for
Yeah.
this episode, and I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
Mine is regarding the Olympics, shared to us by friend of the show, Melissa Vicioso.
Melissa, shout out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Melissa. Thank you so much for this. It's a long article, so if it piques your curiosity, the link will be in the show notes. But it talks about how the payroll taxes as it pertains to Olympic athletes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a longer article. It goes into a little bit more stuff, but I think this is the glaring paragraph that makes the most sense to share. And the first is Thomas Reuters and payroll specialist sheds light on Olympic athletes' tax withholding challenges in Paris 2024. And the heading for this paragraph is taxation is not all the same. So I'm just gonna read it verbatim because it's a longer article, but this is the one that you're like, what? So although there's a federal income tax exemption for Olympic medal winners earning under a certain threshold, state, local, and international laws may require withholding. State and local income tax regulations differ, Volter said, the expert that's in the article. For example, Colorado specifically excludes income earned as a direct result of winning a gold medal while competing for the United States of America at the Olympic Games from state taxable income. However, California does not conform to that federal law exemption, and athletes in California who bring home a medal from Paris must report that income for state tax purposes.
Give me my money. What's that? So on TikTok, give me my money.
Is it?
That's some trend. I might not be doing it justice, but California's give me my money.
See, this is where it's good to be like, yeah, cut clips into the show.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet. So then, in addition, athletes may be subject to a tax in France as the country appears to retain the right to tax all athlete income directly related to the games.
Wow.
Like, yo, it's
Interesting.
crazy. It's
Hey,
crazy, man. Just yeah, don't if your family members over there competing, just depending on where you are, they may get taxed, man. In
yeah.
France, at home,
Mhm.
gosh, man. This is why you really have to win so that you can get some more sponsorship money and all kind of stuff. And this
Yeah.
article does talk about sponsorship money as well. Talks about how if you make over or under 1 million, there's a difference.
Man.
Again, the link will be shared. And look, before we get into our main topics, let's pay the bills.
All right, we have a wonderful message from our sponsor. Summer has arrived, and with it, the perfect opportunity to plan your dream vacation. Whether you're envisioning a relaxing beach getaway or an action packed journey, Time Track Go is here to ensure requesting and approving your time off is hassle free. Time Track for supervisors, approving requests is as easy as a single click upon notification.
Everyone deserves a break, and Time Track Go streamlines the process for all. Start your stress free vacation planning today with the free 14-day trial at timetrackgo.com. That's www.timetrack go.com. Or you can call them at 888 Happy Vacationing and let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So again, as we journey into this new format for our show, our first segment is going to be about the employee. It's about your paycheck.
Mhm.
And we're talking today about housing. Walt's going to start us off and talk about some housing topics.
Look, while a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, as we've said on It's About Your Paycheck show many times, a good majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, that includes some of us or some of you that are listening now.
Absolutely.
So I just thought about it. So what the topic is for the employee part, what can I do if I'm struggling to pay my rent?
Yeah.
So if someone is struggling to pay their rent in 2024, there are several resources out there, and here are some steps that might be helpful to you. So, what's the first thing you could do? You can contact your landlord and negotiate. You want to communicate with your landlord as soon as possible to explain your situation and negotiate maybe a payment plan or a temporary rent reduction. You'll be surprised that there are some good landlords out there who might be willing to work with you. You never know if you don't say anything.
Yeah. And I think this is going to depend on your track record too, right? If you're
That's
calling,
true.
if you call a lot, then maybe they're going to get frustrated. But if it's few and far apart, if you have a good landlord, they want to keep you in. It costs them more it's like having to fire an employee and hire a new employee. It's a cost. It costs money to lose a
Yes.
tenant and then
Think
going
about it.
without a tenant,
Yeah. Think
right?
about it. If I own a apartment building and I rented it out and I don't own it, I'm still paying a mortgage on that entire building.
Right.
And so I'm charging per unit.
Yep.
So if this unit is vacated, I still have to pay that. So if
Yep.
I don't have anybody there, I'm potentially
You
losing out
lose
on
money.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. You lose money. And depending on your margins, that one apartment could be your profit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on where
That's
you are
true.
on your mortgage and where everything. If you're a new
That's a great
landlord for
call
a
out.
building, yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely that's a good one.
Great call out. If you do contact your landlord and an agreement is made, you want to document all communications and agreements, right? There are some local and state resources out there. There's an emergency rental assistance programs that many states and local governments offer out there for those that are experiencing that financial hardship. So, for instance, you can go to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and they have rental assistance right there. So you can reach out to them and they may be able to help you like shore up some of those
Yes.
funds that you need for rent. There's some nonprofit organizations out there that may offer help. The Salvation Army or United Way. A lot of these links that we'll put out there, they can help you with your rent, your utility bills. There's been decisions, especially earlier in my career, there's been times I had to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
I had to forego paying this bill so I can have groceries, or so I can keep my lights on or whatever it may be. So I understand what the struggle is like. And go ahead.
Yeah, I've been there too. When me and wife were new parents, when we hit, man, we cut cable. There's times that we just had to cut things out. Cable was the first thing to go. We would be watching DVDs, and this is at the time where streaming hadn't really come out yet. Maybe Netflix was out, but it definitely was. Streaming definitely wasn't where it is. So there was a lot of Redbox had come out toward the end, but
Mhm.
there was definitely Hustle Man on the block with the 5 for 40, 5 for 20, 3 for
Yep.
20 DVDs,
Bootlegs, yep.
bootleg. Yep. So we were
Yep.
on the bootleg DVDs. We stood on that.
If you wanted to be legal, maybe Blockbuster.
Redbox came out toward the end of that.
Yeah,
Redbox was cheaper. Blockbuster. Yeah, we did do Blockbuster as well. We saw the demise of Blockbuster. But even Blockbuster got expensive. My oldest is 20 now, so it's been a while since we've been
Yeah.
at that point. But what I can tell you is if you're diligent and you want to come out of that place, you can.
Yep.
Right? You can definitely come out of that place. You got to sacrifice, you got to do your thing, and
Yeah.
you'll get there. But you got to be diligent about it. And look, I wish I knew some of these programs existed because
Me too.
and we were
Yeah.
proud, but we didn't want to ask family for nothing. We were very independent minded. We didn't want to ask nobody for nothing. We were like, nope,
Yep.
if we can't do it on our own, we can't be doing this.
Let's get them at that.
Of course.
And look, there's number 3, there's some legal aid services out there. So say you're a low income individual or family, there's some legal assistance out there that in case you're facing eviction, they might be able to help you and prolong that or whatever to help to keep a roof over your head. There's government assistance programs, a SNAP, supplemental nutrition assistance program that can free up funds by providing food assistance. There's a temporary assistance for needy families, TANF. They provide financial assistance for low-income families. There is budgeting and financial counseling services that are out there. So credit counseling services that can offer financial advice and help you create a budget to manage your expenses, to see what you can cut out, see what you may not necessarily need. I mean, look, when's the last time you turned on Discovery Plus?
I already cut it. You need to cut it.
Your price is way too high. Eviction prevention tips. So you need to know your rights, right? You need to understand your local eviction laws and your tenant rights to ensure that you're getting treated fair. Say you are struggling, but for instance, in Georgia, if you don't have a formal rental agreement, but you live somewhere with someone, you're a tenant, and they try to kick you out, they have to give you a certain amount of time before they can kick you out, and they legally cannot raise your rent. The landlord cannot raise your rent. So that's in the state of Georgia. So you want to protect yourself and have that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Like it's corny to say, it's easy to say, but knowledge is power.
Yeah. I didn't know any of this, man. This is crazy.
With that being said, we segue into our main topic, our true payroll crime story. Just about, go ahead.
See, we getting used to it, folks. We switch. Wait, Siri over here going, whoa, Siri, what you? Whoa. AI. Yes. As we segue, keeping the housing theme going.
Yeah.
We got a true payroll crime story.
And about someone in payroll.
Yep, unfortunately.
And this is one of the rare stories I've seen an actual payroll clerk do something.
Yeah, because the last one we did that I can remember, no, there was another, Money Mike, that first one we did.
But he was like a VP or something like that, right?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
If he was a standalone VP of payroll.
Yeah.
He was, and then there was another one,
right?
Trucking company.
You're right. Yes,
right?
You're right. We have done a few.
Yeah, not that many though, but it's because to your point, most of these payroll true crimes are business owners or higher ups that are playing with payroll tax.
CFOs, COOs.
Yeah. Out there who are wondering what we're talking about is for payroll taxes, the employer has to match what they withdraw from us for Social Security and Medicare, right? 6.2% for Social Security, 1.45% for Medicare that the employer has to withhold from our checks, right? But the employer, your company, has to match that and send it to the government. So a lot of these payroll tax.
No, don't forget food or soda too.
But there's no match there though.
You know,
they keep the money. Oh, it doesn't come out. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's an employer tax, That's right. So they take all this money that they're like, oh, wait, no, I'm not sending this in. They keep millions, millions. Look back at our true payroll crimes. It's millions these folks have embezzle, steal, or whatever. So that's why we're like, man, this is kind of a few and far apart where it's an actual payroll person that's getting caught for the crime.
Yeah, we could have had a nice little clip of Lil Wayne, a Millie.
A million, yeah, no doubt.
All right, so go ahead.
Quick sidebar, because I've been thinking about that. What I think one of us or both of us or you know what we could do? We could do it right in the notes, in the show notes.
Okay.
Then, because of minutes, so we got to do at 26, whatever, add clip Lil Wayne and Millie. And that'll make it really easy for us, and we'll remember. So I was thinking about, I'll cut this out, but I'm just saying, I was thinking about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Take us through this true crime, bro.
All right. So we have 6 main takeaways here. This article was on justice.gov, and it's about a former housing authority payroll clerk who admitted to stealing over $500,000. So, number one, the key takeaway is that the person put in a guilty plea, Jennifer K. Smith, who was a former payroll clerk at Milledgeville Housing Authority, MHA, who admitted to stealing $575,000 by falsifying her payroll records. So the charges were, in sentencing, Smith pleaded guilty to the federal program theft, and faces up to 10 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a $250,000 fine. She is not eligible for parole. Smith overpaid herself by recording additional vacation and sick leave on her payroll, which led to substantial overpayments between January 2021 and August 2022.
18 months.
Yeah.
18 months. 18 months is Walt has found a stat that most of these frauds run at least 18 months.
Yep. And then the investigation and prosecution of this, the case was investigated by the Milledgeville Police Department, the HUD Office of the Inspector General, and the U.S. Secret Service.
Dang.
With Assistant U.S. Attorney Sean Dietrich.
So great call out to payroll professionals. If you find something that is fraudulent like this, you need to look back a few years because it runs at least 18 months.
It runs deep. Yep.
So don't go back just 3 months or 6 months or whatnot. Right? Go back
because
2 years.
Because think about it. During this time, between January 2021 and August 2022, when she was doing this, maybe she didn't do it every payroll. Maybe she did it once or twice a quarter, or however much it was. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody did look back and, we look back 3 months. If I do it at the beginning of a quarter or in the end of a quarter,
right?
How are you gonna tell? It's gonna be spaced out, right?
No,
think about.
And honestly, I would keep going back until you don't find it no more.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if just keep that in mind, it runs at least 18 months, and it's gone. And we found cases that has gone longer than that. We found one, it was like 6 years or something like that. And it went right. Remember that one? It was far back. As a payroll pro, look, your leaders may not want to unearth, but if you know who did it, then that's gonna lead to their prosecution. This lady got 10 years.
Up to 10 years, yep.
Oh, faces up to 10 years, 3 years of supervised release. Okay, up to 10 years. Okay, she hasn't been convicted yet then.
And $250,000. No, yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So look, I'll cover the prevention methods.
Yep, sounds good.
Number one prevention method is regular audits. Like we say all the time, most of these folks, especially if it's the payroll person, it's oversight. Somebody's not paying attention and looking at what this person is doing. Trust but verify. Okay.
Yep.
So that's number one. And conduct a frequent and random internal audits to review payroll records, identify discrepancies early. What we've learned in this show is you could actually have a third party come in, right? And if you're a company, look, you're making big money, things like that, your company's running good, right? I think either or, even if you're If your margins are tight and you're like, why am I not making more? Bring in a third, bring in outside eyes. This could be somebody doing something crazy in your company and they're just hiding it. I remember one of my controllers, I'm not an accounting expert, but he was like, look, a penny one way could be $1 million the other way. I don't
Yep.
know exactly
Yep.
what that means, but
Yep.
right? You need to you can bring in outside eyes, especially if you're good or bad. If you're doing really good, then hey, maybe you don't bring in the outside eyes often. You bring in every now and then. But if you're doing bad and you need to you need some auditors to come through and start turning over stones, going through your processes,
Yep.
checks and balances, audits, all these reconciliations, the discrep, all that, right?
Yep.
Schedule quarterly, semi-annual audits by independent or external auditors. I say I was getting
That's
ahead of
just
myself.
saying.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yep. And ensure accurate payroll processing. Number two,
Yep.
segregation of duties. This
Yes, sir.
is some of this stuff it should be obvious, but we're payroll pros, so that's why to us it's like, what?
Mm.
So often we talk about how like the payroll person, the person cutting the check should not be the person updating the employee records.
Agreed.
And definitely not be the same person creating new employees.
Yes,
Oh,
honest. If you're at a shop where you have to do everything, that is a
that's
recipe. That's a recipe for a
fraud.
bad outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Fraud.
For fraud.
The recipe for fraud.
If I'm responsible for entering new hires, if I'm responsible for cutting checks, if I'm
Mhm.
responsible for all that, and like even banking information, updating banking information, all that stuff.
Oh, heck
Look,
no.
but like,
Heck no. Because look, let me tell you. So it's a few things, right? One, call out ghost employees, right?
yep,
I'm so proud, or yeah, proud of ourselves because we've had payroll pros, our colleagues tell us that they learned about ghost employees on this show.
yep,
Okay. Oh my gosh. I thought that was common, right? But
yeah,
so each one teach one, we learn something. And then, oh man, I missed it. What was the other thing? Um, the ghost employees and oh, the system allows for duplicate bank account numbers.
yes, that's a good call out.
Okay. It's not a bad thing because think about it. How many husband, wife, mother, daughter, father, son, parents, child combinations work at the same place? Husband, wife, or let me be more partners work at the same place. They can have the same account, getting deposits to the same account. So the system actually has to allow for duplicates.
Yes,
And I have not run by a system yet that alerts you that it's a duplicate. Because at the
yep,
very least, it should say, hey, this is a duplicate direct deposit. And maybe folks, if you listen in if any systems people out there are listening, that should be a call out. But the workaround is as a payroll pro, you need to run those audits. Just do an audit. See how many direct deposit accounts duplicate. Like easy, put it in a spreadsheet, show duplicates.
that's a good. Here's another point to think about, right? Like the SSA, which is the Social Security admin, not require employees to have a Social Security number before they start working. It's the IRS that requires employees to have a social to report wages.
Oh my. Woo, you get woo. We getting granular up in this piece with the stuff, bro. Heck yeah, you're absolutely right. So
Mhm,
but yes, that's right.
mhm.
So you can go a certain amount of time without that, really, because if you at the end of the year, depending on your job, they really only need it at the end of the year. So if you start
Yep.
in January, and depending on how you the how what's the word I like to use, sophisticated and procedures are, you could go a whole year. Look at Chipotle. Chipotle got burnt years ago for social. They had illegals with social security numbers that people were dead, they were
Yep.
babies,
Yep.
all kind of stuff.
Yep.
I remember back in the day, New York, the hustle was folks like getting kids socials and oh
Yes.
I'll
Let me
buy
claim your
your
kid. Let me claim your kid on my taxes.
yes. Yes, how crazy is this? Folks, payroll pros, there are all kind of little things there that you gotta check. But here's the thing though, the system does alert you for duplicate social. That I can see, that I've seen. I don't know if there are systems that don't alert you, but the systems that I've used most recently absolutely alert you right there. Boom, this is a duplicate social. So
Yeah.
but
And most payroll systems should do that.
should,
That doesn't
yes.
mean they all do.
There's 1,000 payroll systems out there that I'm sure not all of them are sophisticated, and I'm saying.
Mhm.
And then look, some places don't even use a payroll system. You could just have a process in place and use a combination of spreadsheets and a low tech way to cut checks. And you got a nice spreadsheet, bro. You don't even need a payroll system. If you don't like,
Mhm.
right, let's say you're a mom and pop, you got 20 employees, you could do payroll in a spreadsheet.
Yep.
So and that's where these things run amok, is like these one-off mom and pop places, not a lot of employees, they fly under the radar, things like that.
Mhm.
Back to the list, that's why they need the segregation of duties. So if you are a payroll HR professional doing both, I would suggest to you, if you really want to be, if this, you want to make this your career, you make sure that you have oversight,
Yeah.
that you go to, hey, I need somebody to sign off and audit my stuff. You guys need, look, I can do it all, but you all need to bring an auditor in at least quarterly to make sure everything is good. You know what I mean?
Radical
And so that
transparency.
y'all
Yep.
feel good. There's
Yep.
transparency, right?
Yep.
What else? It says separate the payroll functions to prevent a single employee from having control over the payroll process. Assign different employees to handle payroll processing, approval, record keeping, implement dual control systems where one person enters data, ding
Boom.
ding, and
Like you
another
just said.
person reviews and approves it.
Yep.
Ding ding. So number 3, automate payroll systems.
Yep.
Automated payroll systems. Basically, a more sophisticated system. Utilize automated payroll systems with built-in checks and balances to reduce the risk of manual errors and fraud. Implementation, invest in a payroll software that flags unusual entries, allows for automated calculations, and includes robust access controls. One
Boom.
of the things that we teach in the payroll course is, what is it? I forget the terminology it is, but invest in good payroll systems, or so I forget the word. But I've had folks ask, what does that mean, good payroll
Mhm.
system? And this
Mhm.
is what it means: is have the automation in, the built-in checks and balances, the robust access controls is security controls, meaning I can set up somebody that only has access to employee profiles,
Yep.
but not payroll. And I can set up somebody that's only has access to payroll and not employee profiles.
Both.
I can
Yep.
do both as a super admin. You can do both. But guess what? What I do when I'm super admin, I make sure that I don't have access to payroll
Yep.
because I don't need the access to payroll. I should not be processing payroll as a super admin.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I can be a super admin without access to every single module. I can
Yep.
see and view all, but it doesn't mean I need to edit and have process all, right?
That's
So
true. That's a good
that's what
pull up.
access control, yeah, that's what access controls means. You can maybe see everything, but like when my leaders, oh, I want access to everything. I'm be like, look, I'm gonna give you view. You can see everything, but you can't be in there touching everything. You don't know what you're touching and clicking. I don't need you messing something up that we spent months
Exactly.
building. So you can have view access, but you're not editing everything. I'm sorry. That's the whole purpose of having the super admin, right?
Yep.
So number 4 is regular training and awareness.
Yep.
Provide ongoing training for employees on fraud prevention, ethics, and reporting procedures. Like we've seen, this kind of gets into like to the hacking, right? This brings about
Yeah.
cybersecurity. It just rings cybersecurity, where me and Walt have seen successfully hackers go into our system, reroute employees' paychecks to another account, and it still hasn't been solved, right?
Nope.
All they can chalk it up is to they were hacked, and we
Mhm.
can't prove any different. So that the
Mhm.
company's lost money at that point.
But what do we do in that situation? We reach out to the payroll provider to look at the IP address of where the change occurred, and we found out that the change. So one of the employees lived in another state, and the change happened on a IP address that was in another state, right? Like thousands of miles away. So the person I was here, I never visited that state. I wasn't there. I don't know how that happened. Need my money.
I'm skeptical. Right away, I'm like, but if they can't prove it, yeah, no, if they can't prove it, you need to get your employee whole, and then you
Yep.
can still do the investigation. Look, if you find out it was them, that's a whole nother case. That's a whole nother story. You deal
Yep.
with that accordingly. So back to the training piece, provide the training, host annual training sessions, or I would even say more frequent, depending on
Yeah.
the how stable your
Mhm.
processes are. and distribute materials that emphasize the importance of honesty and process for reporting suspected fraud. Look, yes, that's the right thing to do. Put that communication out there. Let people know, look, fraud, you want to keep a job. Fraud hurts the business. Fraud puts people out of business, companies out of business.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you want your share that, because more often than not, if your employee's happy, then they're like, no, I don't want the business to shoot.
Yeah.
I like this job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Number 5 is whistleblower protections. This is a good one as well.
Yeah.
Establish and promote clear channels for employees to report suspicious activity anonymously and without fear of retaliation.
That's perfect, because say it's the manager that is doing something shady, and one of the subordinates or one of the employees finds out, and hey, something is going on. I don't agree with it. I found out that Walt was doing this. I found out that John was doing that. And I want to tell somebody, John. Go ahead.
This is interesting, though, because I wonder if there are third parties that do it, because it says create a confidential reporting system and ensure employees are aware of the procedure and protections in place. But when they say, oh, we're doing an anonymous survey, employees don't believe that, by the way.
They don't.
You know what I mean?
They never
And
do.
they never believe it. If your HR department is good or your company is good, they are anonymous. But you should try to get, because there are third-party places that you can do that will keep it anonymous. And I wonder if it's the same thing, like if folks, because that would be good. Make sure you get a third party that does it. If they're doing it in-house, then no, it's probably not going to be anonymous. They just say it is, and hopefully they don't do anything. But still, if your company has a whistleblower protection policy practice in place, then you can probably sue them if they violate it.
Yep.
If it's in writing, right, then you can probably sue them if they violate it. So keep that in mind. If your company has things written down, that's legal stuff, bro.
And how many times, if you catch somebody doing something, maybe your manager isn't the only one in on it. Like maybe the company's committing fraud, like we were just talking about, not paying the employer portion of those taxes. You find out about that and you go tell the CFO, and the CFOs don't worry about that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's in on the shadiness at that place. Yep. I know it's far-fetched in our profession and stuff like that, but hey, it might happen. There might be a situation where it's not just one bad apple, it's a barrel of rotten apples. You know what I'm saying? And so if you do go tell somebody and you find out that you're the one that you're the one who's getting fired or laid off because you try to do the right thing, maybe there might be, like Brian was saying, maybe there's a third party protection out there that you can reach out to and be like, hey, I found this out. And look at what happened to me. I was retaliated against. I got fired, or I was threatened, or whatever it may be.
Yep, absolutely. And the last one is, like we say all the time with these things, manager oversight.
Yep.
Okay. Implement strong oversight by senior management to review and approve payroll and financial transactions regularly. I'm glad they said financial transactions, because the other side of payroll is AP, accounts payable. Right? So there's another person paying your vendors, and payroll org actually includes accounts payable into their mix. Like there's a section in the magazine about them and all that stuff. So account payable professionals are part of this, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be a good call out. We should get like an account payable professional to come on every now and then and talk about some things. Because like the other side, right? There are colleagues for sure. I'm glad financial transactions, because not just payroll. And then require periodic reviews of payroll reports by senior managers, dedicated oversight committee to catch irregularities early.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Look, by integrating these preventative measures, organizations can significantly reduce the risk of payroll fraud and improve overall financial integrity.
One thing that really wasn't touched, even though we said the automated payroll AI, there might be some AI tools out there that may help you catch those anomalies, those little things that may call it out.
Celery. Yeah. Our friends of the show at celery.com, like the vegetable, celery.com, they have a tool that will look at the history of your payroll and call out anomalies.
Yep.
So but yeah, I think it's too early, Walt. We're still so early in the AI game, and this is still a area that is, how can you say, I don't know, sensitive, but they're not gonna rush into payroll, financial with AI so hard. Right now, Tiffany Gray shared with us. She's building AI out, but on the customer service part, like commonly asked questions, things like that, where it could help employees. Hey, my check is wrong. What is it? You can teach AI to walk through those things with an employee's paycheck. So that's where they're starting with it. I think it's going to get there. You know me, like I said with AI, I want to be able to talk to the system and say, hey, show me all these things. We can do it all with a spreadsheet, running reports and doing our magic with Excel gymnastics. But I want to talk to the system and say, hey, show me all checks. Kind of, you just tell it what to look for, and that'll be training it too, right?
Yeah.
And because if your company has, anyway, you can do it, right? Because you can build it. You're gonna have normal trending things, and then you want to know what's outside those trends. So, anywho, great convo. I love it, man. I love it. This was a good one. I'm feeling it. I'm excited about the new segment,
Yep.
or new format of the show, right?
Yep.
And then to close it all out, we got a safe talk question.
Considering Smith's case, the case study that we did up there about Jennifer K. Smith, are the current legal consequences for such fraud adequate to deter any future crimes like this? Or should there be changes in how fraud cases are prosecuted and penalized? So, what do you think? Was it harsh enough?
I I think that, did you see if she was sentenced yet? Because I saw you
I
highlight the
did.
name. Look it up.
I did.
Was
I
she?
did. No, it's still pending
I mean,
because
yeah, okay.
as of January 24, all they owed her so far was to pay back 548,000 of that money so far. I haven't seen any sentencing yet.
Okay, so my opinion is, because we've now done a good amount of these shows,
Mhm.
what I've noticed is, and I don't know if you notice the same thing, the sentencing looks like it's getting more severe.
Yeah.
I've seen folks steal the same amount of money and get 3 years.
Mhm.
She's facing up to 10 with a 3-year supervised parole or something like that.
Yeah. Released.
Supervised release. I think it's getting more severe. I I have been hesitant to say in prior shows that it wasn't severe enough. So
Okay.
I don't know what drives it. Because honestly, I was scared to say it. Like, if somebody, I don't know, I don't want to do 1 day in jail. I mean,
Yep.
it's definitely enough for me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Unfortunately, I have an idea of what it looks like in there. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I don't want to go anywhere near it. You know
I
what I
have
mean?
no desire.
No desire, man. Didn't like visiting them. Don't ever want to be on the other side of one.
Yep. And look, it might be the state that she's in, right? Because this woman
I
lives
thought it
in
was
Georgia.
harsh. Yeah. And she had like, see, but I do notice that the federal government, or some federal agency, always gets involved in these things. FBI, like, forget about it, Homeland Security in one of the cases we were looking at. There's special agencies and task force within the government. I get
Mhm.
all the news feeds, and there's all kind of stuff. But I guess it's all relative, right? I do think they are severe enough. What do you think?
No, I think so. I think, look, she stole that money. They could have just said, hey, pay it back or whatever. Look, there's not only the sentencing from a legal standpoint, it's the credibility, a loss of credibility to your name.
Oh,
It's a
heck yeah.
reputation that you have. Hey,
Done.
you'll never probably be able to work in payroll ever again, let alone any
No, nothing in
financial
money.
situation. So
I
like,
don't know who would, I don't know what I would trust her with this type of person with.
look,
Really?
I understand. Look, she said in the article, she was like, I know I messed up. I messed up. And
Oh,
she said
really?
that, yeah, she said that. Look,
Yeah,
at
show
the end of
sympathy. That's,
does everybody deserve
or
a
remorse or whatever.
yeah, does everybody deserve a second chance? Sure. But I don't know if I don't know if she's gonna get a second chance in the payroll world.
Well, heck no. She definitely doesn't deserve any other chance at any financial anything.
Yeah.
Um, I immediately think, I'm trusting you. I don't want you around my children. I don't want you around. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what she would be I would able to be trusted with.
That's true.
Because if you're a thief, you're gonna find a way to steal.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Or you're gonna always have somebody looking over your shoulder and like what you're doing. And
that's
right,
fine.
like,
Yeah,
I've always been a Brian, right?
I think even if she's able to. What's that? What was that?
No, if I've always been a thief, right? Like you were saying, if I've always been a thief,
Yeah.
and I've always stolen from you, even if you forgive me, you're gonna be like, hey, you're gonna feed me with a long handled spoon, or not even let me in the same vicinity as you. Or if you do, you're gonna be like stuck to my side. Like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I was gonna say, even if she pays it back, I think she's just to do some time or do that 3-year supervised release type of deal.
Yep.
I mean, even if think about it, even if she's able to pay it back, it's damn, you had it. You
doesn't necessarily had it like that.
Yeah, because no, if you can't pay it back immediately, you need to go. You need to get more harsh time. If you can pay it back immediately, then okay, great, money's back. But then it's what harm have you done? Did you do any harm? Because you know how they say, oh, it's what do they say when the crimes don't impact anybody or something like that. I forget the phrase, but that's not true all the time. Like there's usually a victimless crime. That's what they say. Victimless crime.
Yeah.
If you can prove it,
and look, who knows how this is going to impact that company, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You stole that much
in 18 months.
Maybe in the future, we did one true payroll crime where the person stole from a company and it caused businesses to shut down because of how they were stealing. They worked for a PEO type of setup and they were stealing all this stuff and multiple businesses had to shut down.
Yep. Exactly right. Good one, man. Good stuff today. Thank you all for joining us as we embark on our new format. Yes. I like it. I'm feeling it. And check out next time. We're going to start hitting the states. We're going to start talking about what you need to know in each state as a employee, right? And as a payroll person. Like again, everything we do impacts the employee. So payroll pros get to now see it from both sides. Oh man, maybe they'll be like, oh wow, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. Anything else before we go?
No, good, man. Another good show. Looking forward to this. And to each of you that are listening, we appreciate you. We love you. Until next time.
Peace.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn, and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.